Good evening, everyone. I'm Michelle Campbell, events lead here for Impact London Collective, and it's a real pleasure to welcome you to tonight's Grant Award event. Thank you for spending your evening with us. This is always one of the most meaningful moments in our year, and we're so glad to share it with you. Tonight, we'll be hearing from three extraordinary finalists. Organizations doing vital work supporting women and girls across London. We know you will be inspired by what you hear. For members joining us this evening, you should have received your voting link by email within the last hour. If you can't find it, just pop a message in the chat and we'll make sure you're sorted. A quick note that tonight's event is being recorded. We also want to acknowledge that some of the stories and themes shared tonight include references to trauma. These stories are shared with consent and with deep care for the women involved. Please do look after yourselves in whatever way feels right throughout the session. If you've joined a little late, please do check your inbox for your voting link or message us in the chat if you need support. And finally, if you're not already following Impact London Collective on social media, now is a great time to do so. We'll be sharing highlights from tonight, updates from our grantees, and ways to stay involved throughout the year. For those who are just joining us, we also want to acknowledge that some of the stories and themes shared tonight have reference to trauma. These stories are shared with consent and deep care for the women involved. Please do look after yourselves in whatever way feels right throughout the session. Also, please do check your inbox for your voting link or message us in the chat if you need support. Thank you again for being here. Let's begin. Over to you, Lainey and Erica.
Thank you so much, Michelle. And welcome everyone to our 7th annual Impact London Collective Grant Awards ceremony. I'm Lainey Martin, and I'm joined by my co-founder, Erica Wax.
Hi, everyone.
Our membership lead, Anila Schuckberg, will join us shortly to introduce our finalists and lead us through the presentations. We have members joining us from across our community tonight, as well as guests and representatives from many of our grantees and partner organizations. So a warm welcome to all of you. We did want to make a special welcome and shout out to our 49 new members who have joined us this year for I guess our 7th cycle. We're so pleased you're with us, and we have complete confidence you're very much going to enjoy the evening tonight. Every year, this event reminds us why this collective exists. By pooling our contributions, our expertise, and our energy, we're able to create something far greater than we could do individually. And Impact London Collective is really about intentional collective giving, supporting organizations working across the women and girls sector in London with funding, trust, and with a long-term partnership. And we know that the need for our support of the women and girls sector has never been more urgent than it is right now.
Great. So before we move to hearing from our main grantee from 2023, we wanted to share something really exciting with you, something that speaks directly to what this community has built together this year. As you know, the core of our funding comes from the incredible commitment of our 200 plus members. This year, that collective contribution has raised just over £250,000, an extraordinary achievement in itself and a real reflection of what we can do when we pool our resources. But this year, we added to that. For the first time, we organized an Impact London Collective fundraising walk, a 21K suffragette themed event called Step Up for Impact. Many on the call were out there walking with us a couple weeks ago. Not only did it bring together members and supporters across the community in a tangible way, but it also raised additional funds for our grant fund. So our 39 walkers raised £90,000 from over 460 individual donors. A huge thank you to everyone involved who walked, donated, and promoted this event for us. So tonight, we are delighted to share that those combined efforts mean we are able to do something even bigger than planned. As a result, we will be awarding a total of £350,000 across our three finalists this evening. So that means a £200,000 main grant awarded over 3 years, and two merit grants of £75,000 each. This is a 40% increase on last year's annual grant funding for our 2025 grantees, and an incredibly powerful demonstration of what happens when a community like ours continues to grow, deepen, and act together. And just as importantly, all of our grants remain unrestricted because we trust our grantees to use this funding where it will make the greatest difference. It's a moment of pride for us, and we hope for you too, because this is your impact in action.
And it really is so exciting. So as we've done in the past, tonight I'm thrilled to welcome back one of our prior grant recipients. We are pleased to have Okayla Douglas of Sister System join us tonight. Sister System was our main grantee in 2023, and we've had an incredible 3 years partnering with them every year, more and more impressed by what they do for young women experiencing the care system. So welcome back, Okayla. It's so nice to see you. As you know, many of our members have had the opportunity to meet you, to be engaged with you over the past 3 years, but we also have new members in the audience, 49, as we mentioned, so they're learning about you for the first time and about what it's meant to be an Impact London Collective grantee.
Thank you so much, Lainey, and thank you, Erica. And hi, good evening, everybody. It's wonderful to be back here. I can't believe the time has flown by so quickly. The award that we got from Impact London Collective, only 3 years ago, but it feels like not so long ago, was transformational for Sister System. It was at a critical inflection point in our journey where we knew that we needed to scale up, but we needed to do it without losing the depth and the impact of our work. And so to have such a commitment of unrestricted funding across a 3 year period was incredible, both for me as the founder and CEO, to have that kind of strength in our ability to sustain the organization, and for my wider team, but also more importantly for the girls and young women that we exist to support. If any of you were on the call on the evening that we pitched, I recall one of our young women being with us at the time, and she's still part of our community. And for girls and young women who are affected by the care system, who are so far away from opportunity to be embraced by a collective like Impact London Collective, and to go on to build really deep and meaningful relationships, both collectively and individually, not just for me, but for my community, have made each of us stand taller and feel bolder and braver in the work that we do every day. And it's also enabled further funding to come through to the organisation, and has enabled just incredible transformational network opportunities for us as an organisation. So Please continue to be part of this incredible network. I hope to see you guys at events. I'm kind of cheerleading for all three incredible organizations that are being presented this evening. And I guess, yeah, just to end with, the funding is fantastic and we need it to pay for the work that we do. But the collaboration, the network, and the relationships that I and my team and community have built through you guys that's immeasurable impact. That's long lasting impact. So please keep leaning in. And I hope to see you guys at some events in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Akela. That's great.
Great to see you. Thank you, Akela. So we will shortly be hearing from our three 2026 finalists, BelEve, Furnishing Futures, and the Magpie Project. These are three ambitious founder-led organizations, each delivering services to a unique population in an innovative manner, while also fighting for systemic change. Following the final presentation, members will be invited to vote. Please check your inbox. You can check it now for an email from Impact London Collective with voting instructions. If you haven't received it, just send a quick message in the chat box. And with that, let me hand it over to Anila for the main event.
Thank you, Erica. Very exciting. I can't believe this is our 7th cycle. It's brilliant news. It feels just like the first time, still as fresh and wonderful. I'm now absolutely delighted to introduce each of our finalists. We want to make you assure you that the issues discussed in the videos and in the subsequent live Q&A may include descriptions of traumatic experiences. This could be triggering or distressing for some individuals. Our first presentation tonight is from BelEve. BelEve prepares girls and young women to thrive through life's transitions and become leaders in their own world.
BelEve is a girls' charity based in South London that works with girls from low economic backgrounds between the age of 8 to 22.
My sisters and I founded BelEve because we had a phenomenal mum. We want the girls in our community to have the same support, love, guidance that our mum gave to us. Girls in our community have lots of potential, but the problem is lack of opportunity and a lack of access.
And there's a gap, and it's a readiness gap. So as a charity, we want to ensure that girls gain access, and when they gain the access, they can thrive within the systems which they are transitioning into. We're talking about education, higher education, the workplace. We want to ensure that girls are ready with the right support, tools, the networks and experiences
To reach their potential.
We are working with them at their key transition points. We have a BEAM program which works with girls from the age of 8, and it's all around building confidence and how to be a good friend. And then we work with them again when they are getting ready to transition to secondary school. We have a program called Be Empowered, and it's all around finding themselves in a big environment. And by the time they get to year 9, we have a whole program on leadership. And then we have a Believe in Her Success program, which is for girls aged 16 all the way to 22. And we work with some amazing corporates to give girls a mentor for 6 to 9 months. And we also put on career insight days to give girls access into spaces that they would not normally get. And we do work experience, work shadowing and skills development sessions. We want girls to be able to use their voice, to be able to advocate for themselves and network in spaces with corporates and their peers. This is all a part of getting them ready.
I first met BelEve when I attended their leadership program for 12 weeks in secondary school. Before I joined BelEve, I lost my confidence and I didn't feel like I had a sense of belonging in school. Building up all these skills such as teamwork, confidence, leadership I've been able to be involved in public speaking, creating events for other girls in the community for them to join in, being able to speak to new people and go to careers events outside of school. These skills helped me later on in secondary school, where I became deputy head girl.
Yeah, I feel like they really prepared me for my next stage, which was sixth form life. It helped me be able to speak up for myself. They really build you as a person. Throughout that program, I gained confidence, responsibility, and also I gained belief in myself again.
I'm currently doing work experience with BelEve, and they showed me quite a lot in terms of management skills, working with other people. BelEve has given me a mentor and she's really helped me. She's supportive, she's passionate, and her career goals is in line with what I want to do. So she's almost like a big sister to me. Has also really helped me understand where I want to go in life. How I feel going into university now is a bit more clearer, understanding my path more, and just understand the world a bit more because of being in BelEve.
The girls who have been part of our community, currently successfully working at JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, graduating with firsts from Cambridge, always come back and positively influence the next generation.
So we are in our 14th year. We have worked with over 30,000 girls and young women, but now it's time for us to level up. The funding from Impact London Collective will enable myself and my sisters to build a great ecosystem with our partners, strengthen our team and ensure that we have great wellbeing practices in place, and build a sustainable funding pipeline which is going to see us become a sustainable charity for the next 10 plus years. And if we can do that, we can close the readiness gap and ensure that our girls and young women are thriving in a world that has more equity and more access to opportunities, which will enable us to create the next generation of female leaders.
BelEve in 3 words are love, caring, and sisterhood.
I feel like if BelEve was not here for me, I wouldn't be as bright of a diamond I am today, and I might have been a little bit more kept in my shell and worried about what other people think about me, but I've kind of gained the skill of independence and to do whatever I want to do, to shine as bright as I can.
Amazing. Hello, Marsha. Welcome to our virtual stage. I have to say, you and your sisters are an amazing inspiration. You are the epitome of sisterhood. Absolutely amazing. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. I have a few questions from our members who are desperate to hear more about BelEve. So it was touched on in the video a little bit, but can you tell us a little bit more about the need that you're responding to, particularly in your local community, and the gap that you're looking to fill, please?
Definitely. So, as we said in the video, we work with girls between the age of 8 to 22. These girls sit in unserved communities across London, and they have multiple intersectional barriers. And we are always about how do we close those barriers. One of the things that we've identified is the readiness gap. So, what we know is that there are numbers of crises that girls are going through, but this is not about the immediate crisis. This is about them not being fully equipped to navigate key transitional life changes. This is about them not having the opportunities that are deserving. This is also about their increased anxiety. We're living in a world that's so fast-paced at the moment. And we just want to make sure that all girls have the tools to transition successfully into the next stage of their lives. And we want to make sure that primarily, when they move into primary school to secondary school, from primary school to secondary school, or from post 16 or into the workplace, they have the tools, they have the network, they have the access and the opportunities, because without that, they won't be able to thrive. Um, and we know that society is telling young people there's no jobs. But what we want to do is create hope and also the access and opportunities that they deserve.
And you've made as an organisation, you've made a conscious decision to provide deeper support within your local community rather than expanding across London, for example.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit more about what has driven that particular decision.
So we are asked all the time, will we scale? Will we scale and become bigger geographically? But what we know for sure is that the girls within our local community, they need us to do more. But also as a girl leaves BelEve for whatever reason, there's another 8-year-old that will come on board. So we know that there's a growing need for more support. And we just want to ensure that we are building that readiness gap, making sure that they have the skills and the tools in order to thrive, and doing more in terms of geographically won't necessarily give us that capacity to do better work with young women.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Again, in the video, a number of your amazing corporate partnerships were highlighted. And I'm just interested to learn a little bit more about why you think that corporate partnerships are important in terms of leading, hopefully, to making systems change.
Yeah, I just really adamant to say that systems change cannot happen just with charities. We have to work alongside others. It's all of our responsibility to ensure that girls have more opportunities and access. And when we're talking about access, we are talking about the workplace. So if we work alongside corporates early, and that's not just about girls having job opportunities, it's also about insight. It's about ensuring that the girls are able to see themselves in those spaces before they're actually making the decisions around, I want to work for HSBC or Barclays. So again, as a part of the ecosystem, corporates also have a responsibility. But this isn't about a blame game. This is about partnership. So we're really dedicated to partner with good people who want to open gates for girls, who want to build their pipeline, but also have a focus on equity, and ensuring that women have a fair chance. And that's really what we're building with our partners.
Brilliant. We've just got a little bit of time left. So I want to quickly ask you how you track the impact of your work, particularly kind of long term. So when girls perhaps have left and gone on, 4 or 5 years later, it would be great to hear.
So we are always ensuring that we're measuring impact through our baseline, endline, self-assessment, observation. But we have reciprocity within our organization. So the girls come back. They become peer mentors, they do career talks. So those who are in their post 16 or early career positions, they're hearing lived experience stories from girls who have been through our system and been successful in obtaining either a role in their given organization or being entrepreneurs, because a lot of the girls go on to be entrepreneurs.
Amazing, amazing. You truly have created an extraordinary organisation, and it's been a delight to chat to you tonight.
Thank you.
But thank you so much for your time, and see you again soon. Thank you, Marsha. Our next presentation tonight is by Furnishing Futures. Furnishing Futures creates fully furnished healing homes for survivors of domestic abuse, combining essential furniture provision with holistic resettlement support, helping women to rebuild their lives with dignity, stability, and hope, whilst also tackling furniture poverty and reducing waste.
Furnishing Futures is a charity that fully furnishes and decorates the homes of women and children who've escaped domestic abuse and been placed in completely empty, unfurnished social housing. Less than 3% of social housing comes furnished, so women have often fled, leaving all their belongings behind, and they find themselves in uninhabitable properties, and they find it almost impossible to start again. We create what we call healing homes that support women and children's safety, their physical and mental well-being, and reduce poverty and financial strain. We work with the interiors industry that donates really high-quality furniture and furnishings to us. The homes that we create are also sustainable and support a circular economy because everything that's donated is in new condition but could have gone to landfill. We're the only charity that's doing this work in this way at the moment in the whole of the UK, and we work with trauma-informed design in partnership with the women that we support to ensure that every home that we create is unique and personal to each family, but also it doesn't trigger a stress response, that it soothes the nervous system, and it really is a foundation for healing.
We'll get to know the women and their children and find out any specific needs that they want to make them feel safer in their home. Then we'll come away and work in our warehouse to build a package together. We always install the home in one day with a big team of volunteers, as this minimises the amount of stress and disruption to the family that we're working with. The reaction when the women and their children come home at the end of the day is always amazing.
The need is enormous. Unfurnished tenancies and the lack of support for survivors is a big barrier to women leaving perpetrators, and it's increasing risk to women. And these homes are really very dehumanising, so our support is really fundamental to getting women back on their feet.
Often when we first turn up to meet the women, they're sleeping on the floor with just a blanket. The walls are dirty, there's no flooring, there's no cooker, no fridge, and no means to cook a meal.
I was facing domestic abuse while living with my ex-husband. I was finding a place where I could be safe with my toddler, and it was a long process of housing, and I was asked to move into that flat. I was literally traumatized with the condition of the flat. Little one was with me, and when she looked at the flat, she got scared and she started crying, and I was also crying, and I was like, this is gonna be our home now. I had a suitcase of our clothes with me. That was the only thing when we moved into the flat. We were expected to sleep on floors. But when we came back, everything was changed. They helped me with each and everything, all the appliances in my kitchen, bed and sofas and all the furniture that we need to make a home. On that day, I felt my importance in my life.
My life had fallen from having a well-paid job with good prospects, a beautiful home, to what felt like nothing. I found myself forced to leave everything I knew and had worked for, sacrificing everything for safety. I felt like I had failed my child. Furnishing Futures didn't make me feel like a charity case or a victim. Our transformed home was indescribable. It didn't just look different, it felt different. My child, who previously wouldn't sleep in their own bed out of fear, now runs into their room, jumps in and starts to play happily.
Many of the women who engage with our support services have experienced multiple disadvantages, so they often share with us that they're feeling overwhelmed or unsettled or anxious and isolated at the point where they're moved into new accommodation. This can also be the time where other support services end their support with these women, and so we exist to fill that gap. We provide individual one-on-one support with our specialist support workers, women's groups, coffee morning every week as well. We also have a service user advisory board so that our beneficiaries' voices are at the centre of what we're doing at all times. And we offer a Thrive Employability programme to support them into employment in the future.
Funding from Impact London Collective would be transformative. We're still a very small young charity, and it would enable us to employ another homes designer and support worker. Last year we created 80 homes, but we'd like to create 130 homes to double our impact over the coming year, and then to be able to scale to be comprehensively across London. Our goal is to become a national charity and to change the system so that no woman has to move into an unfurnished home that puts her and her children at risk.
It was really amazing because now I'm feeling more safe in that place. I could put more attention on getting back to work. I believe they changed my life.
Amazing. Ah, there you are. Hello, Emily.
Hi.
Welcome to Impact London Collective. What an amazing organisation. I can't quite believe that you managed that transformation in a day. It's extraordinary when you see the video there. It's really amazing. So just a few questions from our members to learn more about Furnishing Futures. Could you tell us a little bit more about how the work that you do prevents women from returning to their abusers, please?
Yeah, so we know that the lack of support around housing and furniture is preventing victims from leaving because the cost of furnishing a home is so prohibitive. And the cost of furnishing a home once you've been given social housing is so huge that research shows that it can trap women into a lifetime of unaffordable debt. And actually, buying essential pieces of furniture is one of the main reasons, the leading cause of debt for social housing tenants. So, what we know from speaking with survivors and from the women who access our service is that this type of support is really transformative and absolutely essential in keeping them safe. And it's well recognised now within the domestic abuse sector as being what should be really an essential part of resettlement support for victim survivors of domestic abuse. So for the first time, it's now being talked about in terms of safe accommodation by the Mayor of London and the GLA, but there isn't the system in place to provide this type of support outside of our charity and other very small organisations. So the ways that it supports women to stay safe are, I mean, you saw that in the video, if you imagine that you're moving into a flat like that, you've probably left just with a bag or what you can carry. Refuges don't allow women to store belongings, so people have very few possessions. And it can cost £2,000 or £3,000 just to put the carpet down in a home. And then you've got to buy all your appliances. They come without a cooker, a fridge, or a washing machine. You've got no bed. So it's an enormous cost to start again with absolutely nothing. And so women tell us that they feel so desperate and that the homes are so dehumanizing. And often there's an enormous amount of guilt and shame attached to taking your children to a home like that and wondering whether that really was the right decision. That some women do feel that they have no choice but to return because of the lack of support with rebuilding their lives and starting again. So many women tell us that this type of support is literally life-saving for them and their children.
I mean, you mentioned in the video that I think it was 3% of social housing is furnished, which seems extraordinary that there's accommodation being provided, but there's nothing actually in it. Is there a reason for that other than just economical, or is it, and how do we bring about that systemic change so that other than doing what you're doing every day, but
So the reason is that it's not in the guidance or the regulations for social housing providers. So there is no duty on social housing providers, landlords, so that's councils, housing associations, and so on, to put even any floor covering, so no carpet or lino. The Decent Home Standard is the government guidance on what has to be provided by the landlord, and it only includes floor coverings in the kitchen and bathroom. It doesn't include any flooring, it doesn't include any curtains, it doesn't include a fridge, a cooker, a washing machine. You get absolutely nothing. So all of the footage that you saw in that film are real homes that we work in, week out. And that is the standard condition that a permanent social housing tenancy would be handed to a new tenant in. So that's the reason why.
Yeah. Well, thank you for everything you're doing. I mean, extraordinary. Can you tell me a little bit more about how you measure your impact and kind of how you look to analyze your longer term impact data as well?
So we collect testimonials from all of the women who we work with, and we analyse those for themes, and we're looking around certain indicators like an increased sense of safety, physical and emotional health and well-being. There's data coming through now about the impact on children and child development, because obviously for children to live in a child-centered, child-friendly home enables them to thrive and develop. Whereas moving into a home like that with a mother who, is experiencing enormous stress and is worried about putting their child down to crawl or sit on the floor because the floors are concrete scree, and where the carpet has been ripped up, there's often nails and tacks and splinters. It's not safe or conducive to crawling babies and infants. So there's emerging data around that. So we collect testimonials and we do before and after questionnaires with the women that we support to try to track their feelings and the impact on them before our intervention and then afterwards, and also to see whether there's anything that we could do additionally to support them or change the way that we work. We also measure the amount of furniture that we save from landfill and the amount of CO2 that's saved from the atmosphere, because everything that we use in the homes is in new condition and donated by the interiors industry, but it could have gone to landfill. So it's things like returns and end-of-line stock and so on. Because we're only 5 years old as an organisation, and we're really the first organisation who's sort of doing this work in this way, we haven't got a long-term study of the impact of this model. But we are looking at commissioning some research and speaking to researchers at the moment to do that for us. And it is part of our model moving forward. So we do contact women a certain amount of time after we've worked with them to ask where they're at and what the long-term changes have been. And some of the long-term changes that we've been able to see in families that we support are things like being able to get qualifications, go back to university because they're able to study at home. You know, if you think if you're living in those conditions, you're really in survival mode, your nervous system, is really suffering. It's very difficult to engage with the rest of the world and to do things like hold down a job if you don't even have a bed to sleep on and you can't cook a meal. So we do know from some of the women that we have supported that they've been able to go on and secure employment. And one woman who got a first in her midwifery degree and is now working as a midwife and attributes that to that we gave her.
That's fantastic. Emily, I would love to chat to you all night, but I'm afraid I can't. But thank you so much for joining us today and for all the amazing work that you and your colleagues are doing. Thank you so much. Our final presentation tonight is from the Magpie Project. The Magpie Project supports mums and young children facing insecure immigration status, housing instability, and health inequalities, offering practical, emotional, and community-based support to help families build safety, stability, and opportunity.
The Magpie Project is a charity based in East London, in Newham, and we work with mums with children under 5 who are homeless or at risk of homelessness due to the hostile immigration environment. I think it's difficult for people to really take on board the destitution and the deprivation that some of our families in our communities are living in. And I think it comes as a shock to a lot of people. There are mums who are seeking safety in this country and are living in home office hotels with no cooking facilities, hostels or B&Bs, living in temporary or insecure accommodation, often a single room, sometimes just the size of a parking space, or houses of multiple occupancy where up to 5 families are living in a house. Often they're moved from place to place as well with no warning, on hardly any income at all, maybe £50 a week. Our mums have to survive on what is way below the poverty line, week on week, year on year, which is incredibly difficult. All of our mums are somewhere on their journey to settled status in this country. So our aim is to create community, belonging, love, and protect mums and little minis from what could really damage them in terms of their housing and the trauma that they are going through.
You go in and the first thing you get is a big hug and, hey, welcome to the Magpie Project. Are you hungry? Do you need clothes? Do you need a cup of tea? You are not made to tell your story right there and then. That meant a lot.
We were helpless, empty hand. There was no money, no anything. With my 4 children, I came to Magpie. They're having food, good smile.
I met Lindita. She supported us with nappies. Freya paid the travel money. They were so lovely and so supportive, and I felt like home. I never felt like I was new here.
The reason the Magpie Project set up was because there were lots of children under 5 and their mums who weren't reaching the services which were set up to support them. A preschool child, if they're not picked up by the health visiting service for 6 weeks, then there's nobody statutory looking for them until they're rising 5 and ready for school. The local authority weren't tracking children in temporary accommodation, so you have this very at-risk group whose needs were not being met. Some people are scared to come and ask for help because they're worried about being judged for their parenting, or fear that they were going to get into problems with the authorities because you've got insecure immigration status. So what we're here to do is to make sure that all those barriers to seeking help are lowered. We've got a family navigator who helps people to fill in nursery applications, to do food bank referrals. Praxis comes and gives our mums immigration advice. Shelter comes and gives our mums housing advice, and Clyde & Co volunteers come and help mums fill in forms for housing benefit, homelessness applications, universal credit. We've got translators, we've got childcare, we pay travel.
It feels more personal, non-judgmental compared to other services.
They supported me through getting a good accommodation and also regularizing my status.
Social helped me a lot with some funding that I needed for my courses.
You come here, it's a one-stop shop, and at the Magpie, it's not just the support, it's about your whole being as a person.
We do a lot of singing, we do a lot of arts and crafts. We've got craniosacral therapists, we've got osteopaths.
They treat each of us in the same manner, with the respect.
It has improved my children's confidence. They love the other children and the playground and the music. They love it. Without Magpie Project, I would have struggled to find support, guidance, and a safe community for my family.
Our mums, where they're not entitled to services, we push back on local authority and government to change those policies as well.
I've been supported by the project as a mum, and now I work for the Magpie Project. We're currently campaigning and we're asking that no child is housed in a home without a kitchen. And this has come about through the cases that we see each day at the project. This is all for the future of our children, that they don't have to go through in this first world country what they're going through now.
We've been really successful on the local authority level.
Everything we do is by and for the mums and the minis. We make choices such as not taking any commissioned contracts, and that means that we're able to choose what we do with no other agenda other than what the mums and minis tell us that they need. So the sort of funding that we've applied for from Impact London Collective is amazing, enabling us to do exactly that.
Magpie Project means to me support, a community and empowerment. Magpie listens, always listens, everything that we ask from them.
Hello, Jane. Lovely to
Hello.
see you. Thank you for joining us tonight. And I have to say, I love the phrase mums and minis. That's brilliant. And I think sums up exactly what you're doing as well. So amazing. So Jane, you founded the Magpie Project about 14 years ago. Can you tell us why you did that, why you felt you needed to respond to a particular need, and whether the landscape has changed at all, or whether it's still the same issues that these women are facing?
Yeah, so it was actually sort of 2017, 16, 17 that I was on the governing board of my local children's centre. I'm a bit of a chatterer, so I was chatting to lots of people in lots of different sort of community settings as well. and realised that there were blocks of housing, temporary accommodation, and so on nearby. I was talking to a family who lived in one of the blocks, and I said, "Oh, isn't that incredible? Like, why are you living among all these single key workers?" Because this block was meant to be housing key workers, just single adults. She said, "No, it's full of families, full of families with children under 5." And my heart began to sink, and I was just like, "That's like literally half a mile from the children's centre at which I'm a governor. We're not seeing these children. Why are we not seeing these children?" So I went to meeting after meeting, any other business. I was like, I'm not sure that we're reaching these children. I think that there are children who are invisible to services. I looked into it. We weren't tracking as a local authority. Nobody was tracking children in temporary accommodation. Nobody was tracking the new births list from the hospital to get them into children's centres and services. So even the support that they were entitled to, they weren't getting to because nobody knew where these children were. These children swish in and out of the borough as well, being housed by the Home Office, by local authorities, sometimes with 24-hour notice. They're here and then they're gone. So it's this incredibly at-risk group. If you're not picked up by your health visitor at six weeks when your midwife signs you off as a child, then nobody's looking for you. So I started losing sleep thinking, how can we keep these children safe if we don't know where they are? So I went to the local authority and they were saying things like, they won't engage, they're hard to reach, we put on services, they don't come. And I just didn't really believe it. I thought, well, I don't know whether they're hard to reach or you're difficult to access. So we wanted to flip that. We put on a 6-week pilot. We asked mums to come. We had lunch, we had nappies, we had singing. And they came and we just said to them, what do you need? What do you need? How can we help? And that's how we set up the project initially. I didn't let the trustees ask me for a strategy for about 3 years. I was like, we've got a 3-word strategy. It's ask the mums. We just need to work alongside these mothers who are mothering with nothing, doing an incredible job, mothering on thin air. We need to just put some support, some community support around them, some advice, some information, and allow them to mother in the way that they are able to, so that their little minis can thrive.
I think you've answered the question already, but as an organisation working with mums and minis in temporary or insecure accommodation, what do you think sets apart the Magpie Project from other charities working in a similar area, perhaps?
I think that we try very much to see the mother when they come where they are. We want to start where they are. So we don't insist that they turn up to an appointment, because sometimes that's just too much when you've got 2 children under 2 and you haven't slept for years. We just say drop in, come and drop in. And then we say, have some tea, sit down. Do you want somebody to hold your baby? Do you want to just stare at the wall for an hour? We're not going to ask you to fill in a 20-page form in your 3rd language while your toddler screams because they're hungry. We're not going to do that. We just want to start where you are. We want to build right from the bottom of Maslow's pyramid of need. Are you in pain? Are you hungry? Have you got somewhere to sleep tonight? And then move up to solve different problems at different times. So, because I think why our mums were bouncing off different services was that barrier to entry that the other projects have talked about as well was just so high. They felt ashamed. They were worried that people were going to judge their parenting. The phrase I still hear about twice a week is, I thought they'd take my children away if I asked for help. So, who would ask for help in that situation? So we have to be so careful. So we're trauma informed. We're working with psychologically informed environments, and now we're also working on our sort of somatically informed. I know Emily at Furnishing Futures is big on this about nervous systems, yes, co-regulating, creating safety, so that then you can do the work. Because if your nervous system is on fire, you can't even begin to sort the problems that you need to sort in your life.
Of course. And what does success look like for a family in terms of the next stage of their journey when their minis have grown up a bit? And where do people go afterwards in terms of, do you still keep contact with them, or do they go on to other things a little bit more? And we've just got 1 minute, Jane.
Okay.
To talk about that.
So 5 of our staff members are now our ex-mothers. So that's where 5 of them have gone. But success will look different to different people. Some of these big systemic things we can't solve immediately. But we've had people move on to lots of different types of employment, children into school, into housing, having their benefits, sorting out their immigration status. So really just getting back on track with life so that you're more in control and you've got more agency just to be a family, just to be a mother and raise your child.
Amazing. Thank you, Jane. Thank you for everything that you're doing for mums and minis in Newham and beyond. Lovely to meet you tonight, and thank you again. So that is the end of our presentations tonight. 3, I think everybody will agree, quite extraordinary finalists doing extraordinary work and amazing, led by phenomenal, amazing women. So I'm not quite sure how any of us are going to choose, but yeah, thank you to BelEve, Furnishing Futures and the Magpie Project, and I will hand you back to Lainey.
Thanks so much, Anila. Yes, well said. Those were brilliant discussions, and the films really illuminated the unique and innovative approaches each of those finalists is taking to address a very specific need. They're ambitious, they're creative, and actually for the first time, all of our finalists are founder-led. So we're very, very proud that we will be partnering with all 3 of these, and they will all be grantees of Impact London Collective. Just to recap, because we do need to vote now, our members have the opportunity to vote. While they're all working with vulnerable women and girls, they are distinct and they have vital and unique approaches. So BelEve is preparing girls and young women to thrive through life's transitions and become leaders in their own world. Furnishing Futures is creating fully furnished healing homes for survivors of domestic abuse. And the Magpie Project supports mums and young children, minis, facing insecure immigration status, housing instability, and health inequalities. Clearly, those are way too short to communicate what they're doing, but I hope that you've taken away from those incredible films and Q&A a real understanding of just how impactful these organizations are. So with that, it is now time to vote. We are going to ask each of our members to please go to your email from Impact London Collective. You simply can click through. It will take you directly to your own individual ballot form. The first question, which is the most important, clearly, is we'll ask you to vote for which of these all 3 very worthy finalists you would like to receive our £200,000 multi-year grant. Fortunately, there is no wrong answer. Thanks to the incredible strength of our membership and the generosity of our partners and the result of our fundraising walk, each of these finalists tonight will be receiving a very significant grant. And we will be partnering with all of them going forward. So in addition, there's a couple other questions. We really appreciate your feedback on those as well. It helps us measure our impact. I just wanted to let you know if you have an issue at all, put a note in the chat. We will make sure that you get your opportunity. We're going to give you 5 minutes right now. There's going to be a clock countdown. So if anyone wants to get a quick cup of tea, after which Erica and Anila will be back on screen. And that will be just a few minutes more for me to tabulate the results, and then I'll be back on to share those with everyone. So thank you very much, everybody, and good luck.
Okay. This is always such a difficult decision. We are just about at the end of the 5 minutes, but if you're still deliberating, you've got just a few seconds left to get your vote in. And just a reminder, you can only vote at this event if you are a member of Impact London Collective. So if you're sitting there with a bit of FOMO, thinking, I wish I was part of this, you can be. The link to join is being dropped into the chat now, and that will be for the 2027 grant cycle, which kicks off in September. So while we all sit here in suspense, I wanted to take a moment to share with you that this year we introduced something new to our grants process. For the first time, we invited 3 individuals with professional experience from the women and girls sector to join the grants team throughout the entire process. Our intention was simple: to become a better funder. Carmen Gonzalez and Alfonsine Gabo Gabo, both former senior leaders from previously supported charities, the Bay Tree Center and Women for Refugee Women, respectively, and Emma Ackerman, who led participatory approaches at the National Lottery, worked alongside the grants team at every stage. They helped refine assessment criteria, contributed to discussions, reviewed applications, and participated in decision-making throughout. What they brought was something invaluable: grounded, real-world perspective from those closest to the issues we are trying to address. And in turn, it strengthened and challenged our thinking, helping us understand not only where we should stand firm, but also where flexibility and nuance really matter.
Having Emma, Carmen, and Alfonsine join the due diligence team is a great example of how we, with our members, work to give more with our members and our partners to give more. And I think at this juncture, I just want to say a massive thank you to all of our incredible members and take this time to, I don't think we thank you enough. So here we are again, thanking you for your continued support and generosity. We really wouldn't be here without your support. So thank you. Also, a quick shout out to some of our specific members who have been essential in the execution of our mission at Impact London Collective. You can see them now on the screen. And I think it's important here that this is really something that's fundamental to Impact London Collective, that our strength has never just been the money and the financial. It is the time, the talent, and the generosity in this virtual room that multiplies the impact of every pound that's been given. And I think Okayla summed that up very nicely right at the beginning of the evening. It is about all of you and what you can do for us beyond the money. So if you have expertise and you'd like to offer on a pro bono basis, perhaps an impact evaluation for Furnishing Futures, perhaps or for any of our other charity partners, please do let us know. And a special thank you to our grants team who volunteered during this cycle and brought us these 3 amazing finalists. That really is obviously the core of the work that we do here at Impact London Collective, and your robust and compassionate approach is really second to none. I also wanted to thank and highlight how our partners, through their provision of services and spaces, have allowed ILC to ensure that 100% of every member's contribution is able to be awarded each cycle to our finalist charities. This is about pro bono help, but also enabling a small charity to do more because of the support we get from our partners. So thank you. As you all have seen, I hope, in our 2025 annual review, we reported that over 2,000 hours of pro bono expertise have been contributed by our portfolio to our portfolio of grantees, and in fact ourselves as well since we began. So thank you to everybody there. And you can't see him, but Luke Bigg is behind the scene and he's working his magic at the moment to make this event come together tonight. And I'd also like to thank Hannah Lovell, who put together the amazing videos that we all appreciated today. So before we move on to the big news, I just wanted to remind you about what's coming next. This is our 7th cycle. We will soon launch our 8th cycle. So if you are here in the audience tonight and are a 2026 member, but you'd like to renew for 2027, you can also use the same link that was put in the chat box earlier to renew your membership right now, right here. Over the past 7 cycles, we've had an average retention of 80% from our membership. So we're really hoping that we will be able to have the same going forward for cycle 8. As Erica said, don't be shy. If you're not a member, you can become a member. So again, use the link in the chat box. And we're always very, very happy to speak to you or your friends and family about Impact London Collective, because we want to grow the Impact London Collective family. So if you would like any of us to meet you or to meet any of your friends or family, please do just get in touch. So that is everything from me tonight. Thank you very much to everybody on the call. Thank you very much again to all of our members, and thank you for being part of Impact London Collective.
Great, thank you, Anila. So turning back to our finalists, we are delighted to begin new partnerships with BelEve, Furnishing Futures, and the Magpie Project. Once again, we feel incredibly privileged to have spent time with each of these organizations. We've been deeply inspired by their commitment, their creativity, and the tireless work they do every day. They are bold, thoughtful, and deeply dedicated organizations. And with the support of this collective, they will be able to grow their reach and deepen their impact where it is needed most. So over the coming months and the years ahead, you'll be seeing much more from them. We'll be sharing their progress and their stories through events, newsletters, and across our social channels. Please save the date. We've got a really exciting autumn ahead. We'll be launching the new cycle, our 8th, which is really hard to believe, on October 6th with a flagship event at the Roundhouse in Camden. That evening is always a real highlight, not just because we come together as a community, but because we're joined by representatives from our charity partners, hopefully the 3 that you met tonight, along with a couple others, which gives members a chance to speak to them directly and further understand the work firsthand. You can register right now. We're putting the events link in the chat now, and all are welcome. So please do register and come along. Okay, I think the moment has arrived. Lainey is back.
Yes, this is so exciting. Here we are. And indeed, we do have a result. And I just want to say again, what an incredible collection of finalists that we have here. And I'm like saving the good news, but I just wanted to reflect back on what Okayla said, and just the partnership over the many years and all the touch points that we developed in our understanding of Sister System. And I know that will be the same relationship that we will have with each of these finalists. They will be part of our portfolio from now on, and we will be extending many, many opportunities for our members to learn more about them, etc. But our members have just chosen, and it is with great pleasure that I announce that Furnishing Futures is the recipient of our £200,000 multi-year 2026 grant. Congratulations.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Congratulations. Huge congratulations, Emily and Furnishing Futures. So well deserved. And a big congratulations, of course, to BelEve and the Magpie Project as well. Each of you will be receiving a grant of £75,000. Such fantastic charities, and we're pleased that we could introduce you to our members and everyone on the call tonight. And in fact, we asked our members during the vote just now, and 77% of them are learning about all three of these organizations for the first time. So it's really we're really happy to be able to shed a light and provide a platform that will continue. We're really looking forward to supporting all of you in a variety of ways over the coming months and years. And I guess now I just would like to invite Emily to come back on just to say a couple words.
Hi, sorry, I feel
Emily, hi.
I feel very emotional. Sorry. Thank you. I just want to say thank you so much. And it's amazing to be considered alongside two such other incredible organizations. And thank you both for your amazing work as well. Gosh, I can't believe it. This is really amazing. Thank you. I mean, thanks to you and your support, we'll be able to support hundreds more survivors and their children to live in safe, dignified homes, in, to wake up each morning in safety, knowing that no one can hurt them anymore. And we'll be able to grow our campaigning work, because what we really want to do is change the system so that nobody has to live in these conditions anymore. So thank you so much. I feel quite overwhelmed. Sorry, it's not the most eloquent speech, but thank you very, very, very much for choosing us. And we're absolutely delighted, and we're really looking forward to working with you and getting to know you better and being part of the collective. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Emily. Beautiful speech. Beautiful. Thank you so much. And also thank you for acknowledging BelEve and the Magpie Project, because we also just are so proud of all three of you. And from today forward, you are our grantees, and you join our incredible portfolio of other organizations that we also feel incredibly proud to have been affiliated with and continue to be partnering with going forward.
So I mean, I guess we just wanted to well, Lainey.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I just yeah, I'll just continue. I was just like thanking Emily. So, as of tonight, this is another £350,000 that we as a collective have invested, really just to, our objective to increase the support in the ecosystem for the women and girls sector in London. And that has brought us to a cumulative £1.6 million since 2020, which is phenomenal. And we're so proud. And in fact, I think our member numbers, and if Anila was on, she would give me the exact number, but it's cumulatively not more than maybe 360 individuals, which just shows the power of what a number of individuals together can do if they're really on a mission. So thank you to all of our members for your incredible generosity and in your confidence in our shared mission. And I just want to shout out again to save the date. I know Erica mentioned it before, but the 6th of October, it's our autumn kickoff. And like last year, you'll have the opportunity to meet these three wonderful charities in person, learn more about them, and also our members. And please, this isn't just for members. If there are others in the audience who want to join us as new members, come along to that event. You can register now. It's at the Roundhouse, and we're super excited to have that as our flagship event coming up very soon, actually.
Great. So with that, we are going to sign off now. So from Lainey and myself and all of us on the leadership and grants team, thank you for your commitment to making a profound and positive difference in the lives of women and girls in London. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Right on 7:45 on the dot.
Well done.
We're getting good at this.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.